Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Speaking on behalf of the School of Education House Committee, I would like to say it is an honor to be in the house of the Lord, and it is an honor today to be with people like Pastor Hosi and others. We'd like to thank them very much for joining us today. We'd like to thank Mzwandi Lesimilani for giving us his time to come here from the Active Citizens from Johannesburg headquarters. We'd like to thank many more who came to join us today here in this gathering that seeks to crush the devil before we go to the exams.
Amen.
Before I would start, I'd like to get back to a story back in my childhood that gave me a broader picture and an understanding that God really does live in my life and in the life of others. In my teenage years, back then when my grandmother still lived, she used to call us constantly to her room to pray each and every night. That was the life I used to live, and the life I still live right now. During those times, there was one particular day that made an impact in my life. I will never forget it, because I take that day as a miracle that happened in my life, and it has changed my life forever. I'm a firm believer, there is no doubt in my heart that God does really exist. She called us to the room, the entire family that day. It was around 7 to 8 o'clock. We thought it was a normal day where we usually go and pray and then go back to our daily routines. But in that special day, she switched off the lights. It was very dark and I was so curious to what is going to happen. As she switched off the lights, she said to us, "Do you see how dark it is in this room right now?" We responded, "Yes." Then he lit a candle. And as he picked up the candle, he says, "Do you see this small light that is lighting my hand? In every darkness of my life, I have carried this light and it has shown me the way in all despairs and fears. This light, to me, has been Jesus. And before I leave this world, I want you to carry this light with you everywhere you go. Because without this light, there is nothing you can do." I know that each and every one of you might be doubting, some of you, not each and every one, might be doubting that God really exists. But I know that each and every one of you, there's a miracle that has happened. You just need to look deep into your heart and find it. It is there. One of the things that my grandmother taught me was that although the light might be there, the darkness still is there. And the darkness resembles problems of life. But as long as you hold the light on your hand each and every day, there is nothing that can happen to you. I'd like to make a practical example. During the apartheid regime, when the current ruling governance was fighting against the apartheid regime, there were many problems and conflicts. They won the regime. And after winning the regime, it did not mean that the problems were now over. After winning the regime, the problems were still there. But look at what the ruling government did after 1994 and post-1994. The ruling government continued to preach the gospel of freedom to South Africa. Irregardless of the problems that still existed at that particular time, they still continued to say, "We are free as South Africans." This is an example to say that we can come here and crush the devil, what we're about to do, and he's going to definitely die. But it does not mean this should end here. Because we constantly come and try to attack, but if you continuously preach the gospel that is written in the book of God, nothing is going to happen to you. But before you can do this, there is one art that each and everyone needs to do. The power of self-confidence and the power of your words when you speak on your own. Psalms 139, Solomon says, "God, I praise you because you have made me in an amazing way." Before we go and write exams, some of you might be puzzled, some of you might be having fear or despair to say that, "Why might happen? This subject is very difficult. What is going to happen?" But these words are telling you that you are made in an amazing way to an extent that each and every word that you say about yourself will prevail. It says in Romans 4:18, to call on the things that are not as if they were. We're going to write exams. So what do we then do now? We call on the things that are not, which is the marks we want to achieve in the examination, as if they are. I'm going to achieve a 90. that's what's going to happen. Because your words bring what you want. The way you use words will always affect you. Words are like electricity. I always make an example. Electricity could be very useful if you use it appropriately. It could give you lights, it could give you air conditioning to cool this place when it's hot. It could also give you the ability to cook. But electricity used in a wrong way can be harmful and can kill you. The same applies to the words that you use each and every day of your life. The words that you use in every day of your life can be able to help you, assist you, or they can kill you depending on how you use those particular words. But first, there's a principle before I stop that each and everyone needs to learn. Principles. The principle of self-confidence. And not arrogance, but self-confidence. The principle of self-confidence tells you that before God can intervene in your life, you need to go a step forward. You need to be positive about your life, and He can come and make an impact. Let me make a practical example in Abraham. Abraham's wife was Sarai. She never Sarai before she came Sarah. She was Sarai before the name changed. Sarai could not give birth. She was barren. And if you would understand back then in those times, if you could not give birth, you were considered, or the human eyes were considered mediocre in that particular day and age. So now God promised Sarai at that time that no, we are going to get a baby at the age of 8. She had been conflicted by people telling her things and so on, and she had developed an understanding herself as mediocre. She thought now she's less in society. But now God, when He came, He said, look, Sarai, I'm going to give you a baby. But now Sarai had too much words that were negative coming from people. Look at what God did. God changed the name of Sarai to Seth. And if you look at the definition of Sarah, it means princess. So each and every time a person would come to Sarah, now called Sarah, he'd say, please pass me the cheese, Sarah, which means please pass me the cheese princess. Please pass me the water bottle, Sarah, which means please pass me the water bottle princess. Because God knew that in order for me and in order for Sarah to change his mind, he needed to develop a motivated frame of thinking. So he had to change his name from Sarai to Sarah. So that in that understanding, Sarah now would conceive herself as an important figure within society. Then God could intervene. This should tell you that before God could intervene also in your life, you need to change the way you think. We should understand that even Proverbs will tell you that the life and death are in the power of our tongue. Most of us don't even have the audacity to go to someone and tell them that we are not smart enough, we are not gifted, we are not this and that and the other. But you have the ability to tell yourself that we are dumb. And that, in essence, shows that you need to self-develop. Exams are coming. It is your choice when you want God to intervene in your life. It's time for you to change the way you think. It's an important and integral part that I think each and every one of you should take into consideration. There's a song my grandma used to sing. I don't know whether the people listening.
Sing it!
It's a song from the Gators. There's a group that they call the Gators. They used to sing in a particular. My grandma loved it so much. Because one thing that I forgot to tell you is that after that light scenario, she passed on after 2 weeks. Which means that was a miracle in real life. So, my grandma used to sing this song and it goes this way.